Hi, I'm Will Greenwald at PCMag.com, and while CES isn't happening in Las Vegas this year, it is still happening virtually. And that's why we have Samsung's Director of Product Planning, Dan Shinazi, and Director of Product Marketing, Mike Kaddish, here to talk about TVs. So let's roll straight into it and talk about the biggest, literally, new thing coming out from Samsung that you can get as a consumer product, sort of, the micro LED TV. So can you guys tell us about what used to be called the Wall?
Yeah, sure. I'm happy to. So in 2018, we introduced the Wall at CES. It's primarily focused at the B2B market. It was made up of different modules that could be combined together to form a larger display. We're happy to announce that in 2021, the micro LED display is coming home to the consumer market. We're offering it in 3 different screen sizes: an 88-inch, a 99-inch, and a massive 110-inch product, all pre-configured. You just take it out of the wall, no professional installation needed.
That's really cool. And of course, micro LED is a technology that's different from most TVs that are out there, which use LEDs to light up an LCD screen. LCDs are not emissive. They don't actually put out light, so you need a light behind it or to the sides to actually put light out, which is what the vast majority of TVs do. There's also OLED, organic LED, which it is emissive. Each pixel does put out light, but it's a different technology from micro LED, which is individual little modules, little lights, different colors that light up to create each pixel. Now, micro LED is something that Samsung has been pushing for a few years in B2B, and even on the consumer side, this is, we've heard a few speculated prices of 6 digits for the 110-inch model, so not necessarily for most consumers yet. But is this where Samsung sees sort of the future of TV technology? Because it is what is a technology that allows like perfect black levels, incredible contrast, things that LCD and LED backlight systems can't necessarily accomplish.
Yeah, this is definitely where we see the future of TV and display technology going. I'll let Dan talk in a bit more detail about all of the picture quality improvements and enhancements that you get with micro LED. But yes, to answer your question in short, this is where we see the future of display technology going.
Yeah, and I'll piggyback on that and chime in on some of the attributes. And exactly as you mentioned, this is a self-emissive display, so there's an LED for each pixel on the screen, 8.3 million of them. So it's that's pretty impressive in itself. Again, in a fixed frame, you take it out of its crate, do some minor adjustments, and then literally hang it on the wall. So I guess it's the same core technology as we've had on the B2B side, or better known, the Wall Lux. But this is prefabricated, which makes installation much easier.
That's very cool. Obviously, it's capable of having a very big size, like 80-inch to 110-inch. And a lot of that is because of the size of the LED modules. Do you think Samsung will be able to manufacture increasingly smaller pixels, and maybe we could see also less expensive pixels? So maybe in a few years we could see a more consumer-friendly model that wouldn't necessarily fit the 80-inch size area, but might fit the usual 65-inch that is the sweet spot for a lot of homes.
Yeah, it's certainly not out of the question. As technologies grow and mature, we've seen price points tend to fall, and so I would expect something similar to happen with this technology in a few years. For now, though, we're sticking with those 3 screen sizes this year: the 88, 99, and 110-inch.
Right. Now, this is a 4K TV, which means that still leaves a lot of room for 8K, which is the next big step in resolution. There's probably going to be a lot of news about 8K in some form at CES from a bunch of different people. We'll see what happens. And Samsung has had an 8K TV for the last year or two. What is Samsung doing this year in terms of 8K and getting it out to the masses? How are we seeing 8K progress past this point of it just being this new thing that there's nothing really for yet?
Yeah, definitely. So we launched our first 8K TV in the US market in 2018. And more 8K content it's increasingly prevalent. Consumers can shoot in 8K with their flagship mobile device. Gaming consoles have been released capable of playing 8K content. Some broadcasters are even broadcasting more and more in 8K. And so we think that 2020 is when the 8K ecosystem was complete. We think 2021 is going to be prime time for 8K content, when we'll see a lot more of that content coming. Now, one of the other reasons 8K and our 8K TVs are so impressive, it's not because necessarily the content that's available, but our TVs have the ability to upscale any content, whether it's SD, Full HD, even 4K content, into 8K, thanks to our 8K AI upscaling and the neural networks that our processors use to create that content and upscale it into 8K, which is really important as our screen sizes and consumers' demand for larger screen sizes continues to grow. A couple years ago, 65-inch was probably the sweet spot. 2021, we've got 85-inch TVs up and down our line, and we've got 8K TVs in that 85-inch screen size. So that's where the content is important, and the AI upscaling is equally as important.
So 8K is definitely going to be a factor, and bigger TVs. I know Samsung is looking to go bigger is better, not just for the micro LED. You mentioned 80-inch plus models in LCD TVs, QLED, Nano. What's the terminology Samsung mostly prefers with this, and how is that going to reflect in the biggest TVs we're going to be able to see for most consumers in the coming year?
Sure. So we're calling it Neo QLED. Dan can provide all the details on technically how it works and why the picture quality is better. But from our perspective, we're offering a step change from our QLED product into our Neo QLED. And quite simply, we're providing a better viewing experience. Dan, can you provide a little background on?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, the Neo is really exciting. As Mike mentioned, this is the core technology, I guess it's starting to be known in industry, is a mini LED, and that's referring to the backlight technology. But as you'd expect from Samsung, this is no ordinary mini LED. We've reduced the actual size of the package of that mini LED, 40 times a reduction. So that enables many things. One is the light that's dispersed from these mini LEDs is very, very directional. So not only can we get more of these mini LEDs and have a better backlight, more dense backlight, more zones, more dimming zones, we can also get brighter. And also the luminance control. We can actually control the luminance to 12 bits, so we can have a lot of dark detail where you couldn't see it before. So less blooming or halo effect, higher contrast, and also the overall form factor of these TVs in 8K is remarkable. It's 15 millimeter cabinet depth. It's pretty remarkable.
Very cool. For micro LED and the whole backlight system, for a lot of low-end TVs and several years ago, it might just be a few dozen zones. How many LEDs are we seeing in each, in these new Neo QLED TVs? And we're talking hundreds, thousands, obviously not for each pixel, but how many are we talking about?
Yeah, I don't know if we're disclosing the exact number, but it's roughly 10 times more than we previously had. So it's significantly, the number of LEDs is significantly higher. I think probably a little closer to launch, we'll probably get some absolute numbers out there.
And of course, we're talking about more than just 8K. Now, the Neo QLED stuff, that's also going to extend into 4K for users who aren't necessarily going to jump to the new resolution yet. What can you tell us about some of these flagship models that are still going to stay in the 4K zone, besides the micro LED TV? Sorry.
Yeah, sure. So we've got 2 4K Neo QLED series coming to market. And one of the great things we're doing with our TV lineup in 2021 is, in addition to just making a number of picture quality enhancements, we're making enhancements to the smart features and functionalities. 2020 was a year that changed us all, and it changed the way consumers interacted with their TVs. So some of the new features and functionalities that we're bringing to market are making it easier for consumers to relive those experiences that they've lost last year. So, for example, a lot of people aren't going to the gyms anymore, but thanks to Samsung Health and our Smart Trainer app, you're able to actually work out in your living room, use your TV as the hub, and you can keep track of how you're progressing towards your goals. You can use a webcam to track how your positions or your form is relative to what the appropriate form is for the exercise that you're doing. And it's a holistic exercise experience. You can track your health dashboard from your mobile device and from your wearable as well. Another example is with communication and voice calls. If you're anything like me, you've had a number of video chats with family and friends in 2020, more so than any year before. Your shoulder's probably getting a little sore from holding your mobile phone out in front of you and having those video chats. But thanks to our partnership with Google Duo and Logitech, our TVs in 2021 are going to have the capability to have a video chat directly from your TV in the comfort of your living room. So you can plug in the external Logitech video camera, open up the Google Duo app on your smart TV, and have a video chat with your friends and family right from there.
Cool. These are all like the technological advancements for the TVs and the panel technology. But if we can shift over a little bit to sort of the fashion and style side, there's a new frame coming out that's thinner than the previous one. That looks to be the main thing that Samsung is promoting in its sort of more design side of TVs. Sort of curious what the philosophy is with that, and sort of what was the reception to the Sero, and are we going to keep seeing that in the West? Because I found that to be a very interesting TV.
Yeah, so our lifestyle category, as we call it, continues to grow. Sero, the frame, Serif, the Premier projector, and the Terrace product for outside TVs. So all of these lifestyle products provide a unique offering for consumers that are looking for something above and beyond a typical TV to put in their living room. So we find that consumer demand for these lifestyle products continues to grow. Consumers want to be able to put a unique touch or spin on the spaces that they have in their homes. And a traditional TV doesn't do that for all consumers. So we found a large following of frame lovers, of Sero and Serif lovers. And with regard to the frame, you mentioned it earlier, 2021, our frame TV is going to be nearly 50% thinner than it was in 2020. We're also offering a few different bezel color options and a few different bezel style options to let consumers continue to adapt and customize the TV for their preference and their space.
Because for any viewers who aren't already aware, the frame TV is pretty much what it sounds like. It's a TV that looks like it's in a picture frame. There are several modular designs you can have that can basically frame it the way you want and hang it on the wall as a picture frame. There's an art gallery feature. The Serif is I would say almost girder shaped. Its side looks like kind of an eye, so there's like a little shelf on the top, and it comes in different colors, and it looks very nice. And the Sero is what I found to be the most interesting. It is a TV that shifts mechanically from landscape to portrait, so you can stream video from your phone to your TV, and it'll just go straight up to look like to be aligned like a phone, like you normally hold it. And they are all sort of available in the West, but I am curious about what the reception has been to the Sero, because it's sort of the most unique design-wise we've seen. And well, how's the reception been?
Yeah, it's been great. Consumers love it. It's particularly resonated with consumers that always have that mobile experience with them. Typically the younger, maybe younger than me, consumer that are so used to consuming content, YouTube videos, TikTok videos on their mobile device. It has resonated particularly well with that younger demographic.
So I assume with going back to the tech, just to wrap everything up a bit more in the ball, you see micro LED as the future. Hopefully, like long term, this is going to be the new technology. Is Samsung still going to be steering clear of OLED for smaller screens in terms of the premium view? Is Neo QLED going to specifically be if you don't want the giant, very expensive TV? How has Samsung's attitudes towards OLED versus micro LED been shaped in the last few years?
So yeah, very interesting question. So for OLED, most of our mobile phones are all OLED. So we're not against OLED, but when you get into that larger screen, size, I'm talking away from the handheld category, the 100% color volume, no instance of burn-in. You have a long-term use, sometimes static images if you're gaming. So, the LCD technology is, folks have said there's no more runway for improvements. They've been saying that for years and years, and every year there's significant improvements, and I think people will not be disappointed this year as well. So again, even better black detail than you've had. The form factor is again, get down to 15 millimeter depth, picture quality, off angle viewing, just phenomenal sets. Multiple HDR capability, HDR10 plus, HDR10 plus adaptive, which is something new, that actually gives you all the benefits of HDR, but also it automatically compensates for your room lighting at the same time. One thing we forgot to mention, it might be quite interesting to a lot of your viewers, is all of the improvements that we've done in gaming. So, we're always happy to talk about what's coming out in 21, but we where we can, we don't forget about our past customers. And actually just recently in the last few months, we've enabled some experiences that can take advantage of the new Xbox Series X and the new PlayStation 5. That's that 4K at 120 gaming. So, that's been rolled out with firmware. Of course, those new experiences will exist in 21 TVs. But we've added something a little extra for 21. One is a game bar. This is a status, if you will. If you're an avid gamer, you're always concerned with frame rate. Is my VRR active? Am I in low latency mode? So with the push of a button, you can see all of the important status items right there. And we also have another new feature. It's really cool for those that enjoy PC gaming, really hardcore, really engaged with games. You can now do ultra wide view. So 21 by 9, 31 by 9, it's, again, a much better perspective, especially with first person shooter, where you couldn't see, where the enemy's hiding, now you can with that ultra wide view. So that's being supported in 21 as well.
Cool. What about adaptive frame rate, variable refresh rate, and G-Sync and FreeSync?
Yeah, so we are supporting HDMI VRR and also FreeSync Premium as well. And I think it's been mentioned in the media. We are working with NVIDIA as well. No announcements quite yet.
Okay. Cool. Thank you for spending the time to talk to me, both of you, Dan and Mike. And we're definitely excited to see the new TVs that are coming. Hopefully we'll be able to check out the micro LED TV sometime in the future, but we definitely want to look at all of them.
Yeah, you won't be disappointed.